If you're marking 2-year anniversary, living conditions are not good, everybody doesn't feel the impact of the administration. What is very critical at this time?
Now, even for the administration, I've heard so much about the $1 trillion economy as an overarching objective.
Yes.
You know, whereas the bigger objective should be how do we address the issue of the living conditions of the people. The two can go side by side. But if one is moving, we are achieving growth, we are achieving GDP, and we are not improving the social side of it, then we are not making progress. So for me, what is important first is to ensure that, even before we talk about that, some progress has been made, which we must admit.
Okay.
We are seeing some progress in the last 2 years about some major critical reforms. Though very painful though.
Painful ones, yeah.
But they were necessary.
Okay.
You know, we have seen some measure of stability in our macroeconomic environment, particularly the foreign exchange. We have seen an improvement in liquidity. We have seen an improvement in the transparency of the transactions. You know, so we have seen
even the allocation to states and federal government has improved. Yes, because of the savings from
subsidy. The fiscal outcomes has also been very impressive in terms of allocations and all of that. Those are some of the benefits that I was saying that we need to properly redistribute, so that it's not just people having the pains; we should also have
the gains.
Benefits.
Yeah.
No, that is. Then, if you look at it on a sectoral basis, we have seen some fair improvement. If you look at aviation, for those who travel frequently, you will notice some visible improvement in our airports. We need to be fair. It isn't as what it used to be. The same thing, our ICT sector, the man driving the ICT is doing an excellent job, trying to transform that sector. And we are seeing quite a lot again in the area of maybe creativity, entertainment, and all of that. So some steps have been taken. But we still have some critical sectors that are still having issues, especially agriculture. Agriculture accounts for about 24% of GDP. Look at what insecurity has done to that sector. And we are talking about the largest employer of labor. So when we are even talking about poverty and unemployment, that is one major factor that needs to be addressed. Then, of course, issue of infrastructure, we are still grappling with the problem of power. Power is affecting productivity and all of that. But I must admit, the power situation is another conundrum. Yes. Because there's a huge subsidy component that the government is still struggling on how to manage it. And managing a subsidy regime is not the easiest thing to do. You know, so it's neither here nor there. But of course, for me, fixing the power situation requires a blend of funding. Public sector funding, private sector funding. Yeah. So we need to come up with a model. It's not a sector that you can leave completely to market forces or to a private sector driven model. Okay. It cannot work because power is a development issue. Just as it's a business issue, but it's also a development issue. So that is why the public sector involvement is very critical. Now, coming back to the issue of what should be priorities.
Yes.
What should be priorities first is addressing the social outcomes of the reforms. Because if you go out there now, the cry is about cost of living, cost of things, and all of that.
Yeah.
And that will require a lot more investment in the social sector. You know, social sector, I'm talking about things that relate to education, things that relate to health. I will even include that food and public transportation. Those critical things. So that if the government can spend in a way that will take that pressure off the citizens.
Yeah. Socioeconomic pressures.
Yes. Take the pressure of paying school fees, of paying for hospital bills, of high cost of transportation, of high cost of food. And government has a role to play in all of this. If you look at all other economies.
Developed and even emerging.
Yes, imagine. They subsidize all those areas. So that the pressure on the average citizen will not be too much. And we have to do it in a way that will be impactful.
On the populace.
On the populace. That's why I have issues with all this low student loan, all the palliatives and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't think that model is working. we need to look for a model that will work. So that whatever resources we are committing to addressing this challenge of poverty, we commit those resources in a way that it will bring impact.
Impact, yeah.
Not just report that we have given so much to several 100,000 of people. Let us see impact. So that model, I think, is in. So addressing the social issues is very important. And addressing issues of corruption.
That's in the public service.
Yes, the management of public finances. You know, because we need to see a public sector that is less transactional. Everywhere you go, most of the public sector players, most of them have a transactional disposition. And when I say transactional disposition, what I mean is that people are looking for what they can benefit personally.
As public servants.
Yes. It's a major issue at all levels of government and at all tiers of government. Whether you are talking about local government, you are talking about state government, you are talking about federal, you are talking about judiciary, you are talking about National Assembly. It's a major problem. Because you need quality public sector, quality bureaucracy to support any policy.
Yes, reforms and policies.
Reforms, you need it. So if you have a situation where there is too much of dominance of what is the need for me, it has a way of affecting the effectiveness of policy. And it affects the effectiveness of even the outcomes of some of these very laudable policies that government is putting in place. I mean, look at an example of this student loan thing.
There are some conversations now.
Yes, it's supposed to ease the burden
of students
on the vulnerable students.
But the allegations of some regions benefits are not benefiting.
Yes, people benefiting. People, the agency said they have disbursed so much. Israel said they have not seen anything. No, all those things. So we need to fix the public sector. It's a very big agenda. And it's a very big job. It's like a big elephant. But it's something that we need to fix so that we can get proper results, from government policies. So that people can feel the impact a lot more.
Yes.
Because sometimes you have very good policies. But when the machinery to deliver those policies are not there, you won't get results. So when we are talking about economic reform, we should be focusing simultaneously on public sector reform.
Public sector reforms.
They're equally important. Yeah.